Welcome back to Combust Astrology. My name's Liv. Let's go ahead and get into the new moon that's in Sag. Gonna have a moment here just to quickly look at the chart. Okay, so during this period of time, Mercury's already retrograded. Sun and moon, there's a new moon. Mars is in Leo, trining that. Any Aries? Yeah, we got a grand fire. And then the Chiron is trining the. Ooh, be careful. Be careful. Okay, so this is like a little bit of a narrative play, and we're going to walk through this, why this is important. So the new moon that's happening is actually really symbolic of fire energy until March. Why is that, Liv? So a few days following this, the Mars is going to retrograde. I believe it's a few days. Mars is going to retrograde. I think it's like the 6th or something. Yeah, it stations direct, and then it starts retrograding by the 8th, right? We have that until March, like quite literally until like sometime in March. So while this is happening, Mercury is also retrograding until the 15th here, where it stations direct, and then it starts going forward. And then Leo is still retrograded until like 3, let's just do 3, 7. Will this let me? 3. It doesn't let me do that? It does let me do that. Okay, cool. So Mars by this time, well, let's go back a little bit. There we go. Late February. Whoops. But it's gonna be going all the way back into 17 degrees. And then from there on, we're gonna move forward. And I believe it actually like goes direct or something like that in the in between. I'm not 100% sure. Please don't quote me. But the premise here is I'm just trying to draw an image for you to kind of see and understand. Oh no, it doesn't go retrograde. For you to kind of understand, right? We're starting now with that by looking at the current situation that's at hand, this new moon, right? Where is your ability to manifest? I feel like all of it really ties to that, but also like sitting and waiting, like patience, because we know that the trine here to the Chiron means this is something that really hurts you. You really want it to work, but it's kind of like, hey, like let's not. On my Instagram and TikTok, I made a reel kind of talking about that. Like, hey, you've been talking a lot during the period of Mercury and Sag. You've been talking the talk. Have you been following through? And if you haven't, what could be hindering you from doing so? Jupiter having this direct opposition when this Mercury retrograde starts happening is like we're either going to double down on our delusion or we're going to have to like take a break and stop for a second and reassess and analyze and let's see what we really are, Which is why I feel like this new moon is important because although not directly conjunct by degree, having the same house, it just comes across to me like why not have the biggest fantasy ever, but wait to execute, right? You really want to wait because Pluto is still opposing Mars, and as it retrogrades, it will oppose Mars for a little bit. So you don't want to be too loud about it. This is back to that whole Leo rising stellium situation I was talking about. But you want to make sure that you're cognizant of this grand fire trine because it's not one that asks you to make a actionable decision. It is one that's asking you to make a mental decision, right? Everything is retrograded except Saturn. Why by that I mean the outer planets. They're all retrograded besides Saturn right now. Well, and Pluto, but Pluto's already dealing with Leo right here. So it's kind of like, hey, like relax, this does hurt. you are feeling that pain, but it's like, don't make a decision yet. Like, wait. And I've been having to tell a lot of people this. I'm like, all decisions should be mental first before the action. You work on the small steps that are not the actual thing itself, but the preparation around it, right? Mercury or Gatorade and microwave, or whatever you want to call it, is always to me an introspective period, right? It doesn't have to be scary. I think the one in Virgo this year was kind of scary, but it's introspective because it's probably just like, hey, it's a pullback. We did well and things are not what they seem, and that's okay. If you have mutable placements, meaning you have Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, and Pisces, you really should not be letting the current outcomes that are going to be happening during this period because this is the um, 11th of 25th of November till like, I think it's like December 15th. This specific is like a hot period. Even before, since like November 7th, when we entered the shadow phase, that was pretty big, but this is a hot period to me because now it's like, okay, the little red flags that you got during this phase is like apparent. And it's like, well, we can't keep running from it anymore. It's like right here in front of us, right? So take that in. Take that in and don't be deterred. Personally, for me, I'm going to be introspective and kind of sit to myself and be like, hey, I want to change some things. I want things to be a different way because we're going into full-fledged delusion next year. With the nodes changing, full-fledged delusion. So why would I not plan it out now? Start living the fantasy. Start doing the Pinterest board, the Tumblr board, the mind movie that you have to do to be in a delusional state and just brainwash yourself. Or reassess everything you've done and say, this is not good enough, we have to restart. Either way, you don't want to just keep doing actionable things right now. I think that's the biggest thing. Okay, what else? Uranus is trining Venus. Ooh, that sucks for relationships. God. And it's retrograded. What you thought was perfect isn't working. Damn. And then if they have Capricorn or other mutables, this is not a good look. But it's okay, because as one of my friends said, as one thing leaves, another enters. And we were talking about the seasons and the cycle of time. Nature does you well because nature is not spring 24/7 unless you live in Florida. But it's like fall is coming. Death follows. Spring is coming. Birth follows. Even if you didn't watch astrology or believe in it, you see the progressions of the cycles. Through the equinoxes, you can see how life is supposed to happen. Nothing is permanent. We are impermanent, and things are always going to grow and change. The people that have hurt your trust and you felt like, wow, I feel like just let down by this person, it's okay. And as Saturn has that sextile, not sextile, that square to the new moon, it's like, listen, you were a little delusional, and I'm the only one right now, head honcho besides Pluto, that's like direct. Let's go ahead and clean this up real quick. It's gonna hurt. It's a really quick jab, but it's okay. Just remember who you are and surround yourself around love, you know? Take it in strides. Journal. Make some some effort to connect with the people that you love in a way that will give you a safe space. And then get ready for the delusion of next year. That's it. That's all I got. Thank you for watching. I hope everything goes well for you. My name is Liv. Take care.